The movie begins with an airplane passing through a dark storm and then crashing off the coast of the Bahamas. The scene then changes to lovers, Jared and Sam. Jared's a diving instructor who hates his annoying boss but loves diving, while Sam's an aquatic theme park guide. Unlike Jared, she's passionate about feeding sharks and her work. They live a simple life in a trailer on the shore. While messing around on their old boat, this guy named Derek offers Jared the chance to work for him. The work he's offering is to locate one of the numerous commercial and pirate ships packed with riches lost somewhere over in the waters of the Bahamas. But Jared refuses because he wants to work independently. Now Jared's longtime friend from childhood, Bryce, along with his newly acquainted girlfriend, Amanda, pay a surprise visit. Bryce, a successful lawyer from New York City, secured an extravagant vacation home through his legal expertise and a client he recently represented. My man's ballin'. Jared is overjoyed by this news and the friends set out for a day at sea. After some fun with jet skis, they go snorkeling. Jared loses his watch and dives into the waters to get it. But much to Bryce's terror, he sees it shark-infested. They explain to him that only tiger sharks are dangerous around here, while the rest are friendly. Jared then discovers the remains of an ancient ship, so the others dive in too, excited about the idea of treasure. They soon find some gold treasure along the way, and the wreckage of the airplane from before. They continue to enter the plane via the cockpit and discover the plane is brimming with illegal substances. Sam wants to leave it be, but Bryce and Amanda want to keep some of it. Jared ends up throwing that magic powder in the sea to stop their arguing. That night, after some careful discussion, the group persuades Sam to join them in their search for more pirate treasure. Sam agrees, as long as they report the plane after claiming the treasure. When morning arrives, Jared and Bryce go to borrow some expensive equipment to help in their treasure hunt. However, Bryce turns out to be broke and has no money to fund that expedition and has lied to Jared. So the next day, while Jared and Sam search for the pirate ship, Amanda secretly dives into the plane again to find some more dirty candy. But Amanda's scuba equipment gets all tangled, and she starts losing oxygen. Realizing something's off, Jared dives in and soon finds her. He scolds her for not listening to him about entering the plane and asks her if she had taken any illegal powder. Amanda promises she didn't, and Jared takes her to the surface. Yeah, this girl's definitely sees. Now at home they start cleaning the treasure. Sam and Jared are excited because they know the history behind the ship called Zephyr, where a pirate abandoned his treasure to rescue his girlfriend. Bryce and Amanda only get excited when they hear that the Zephyr contains gold worth millions of dollars. So later, the two couples get new equipment and some scanners and dive down again. Amanda stays behind and writes down the coordinates of the items they've retrieved. Unfortunately, the police arrive and want to search Amanda and their boat for some dirty candy and suspicious activities. Underwater, the trio retrieves the old ship's cannon. But when they see the police on the surface, they panic and drop it abruptly. Bryce's arm gets caught under the weight and the oxygen levels start dropping. Sam ingeniously gives him air using a floaty, while Jared lifts that cannon and releases Bryce. They get to the top, and we discover that Sam and Jared are friends with the police captain. So he stops the search and leaves him alone. Now that night, the couple celebrate at a club. After drinking a little too much, Bryce jumps into the pool and makes a scene, while Jared gets a tip from a friend that some bad locals have been looking into their treasure hunt adventures. On the other hand, Amanda is getting close with the club owner, Primo, which infuriates Bryce, and he gets into a fight with him. Jared breaks that up and escorts his friends to safety and tells them to keep low-key, or people are going to find out what they're doing. Now in the morning, the couples dive, but two men watch them from afar and take the opportunity to search their boat. Jared and Bryce notice this and confront them, resulting in a fight. One thug is taken out with an oxygen tank, and the other is held underwater in leg scissors until he gives up and flees. However, they leave behind evidence, revealing that they're sent by Derek. Jared goes to confront Derek about this assassination attempt, but he denies the claims. Now that evening, Bryce and Jared are talking about the exorbitant cost of new equipment and realize that they can't afford it. So Bryce suggests stealing some of that magic powder from the plane and selling it to get cash. Like before, Jared doesn't really want to do anything illegal and refuses. However, Amanda and Bryce decide to disobey Jared and go into the late night to get some of that illegal powder and try to sell it to Primo. This is definitely not going to end well. Primo turns out to be a friend of Reyes, the drug lord who originally owned the substances and the plane. Primo then holds the couple captive. Desperate, Bryce calls Jared to rescue him. But Reyes isn't messing around, and he threatens him and orders them to retrieve all that magic powder. Claiming there's about 600 pounds of that substance on that plane, Reyes gave Jared some money for the equipment he needs and a deadline of 24 hours, or else they'll all get taken out. When Reyes lets him go, Jared gets pissed off with his friend for pulling such a stunt. Then they tell Sam about what happened, and she decides to break up with Jared and leave, because she doesn't do illegal stuff with no choice. Jared, Bryce, and Amanda dive into the plane crash after dark to recover some of those illegal powders and other artifacts. Using the new equipment, they find expensive bells and old jewelry, confirming that the ship is the Zephyr. However, a tiger shark attacks Amanda, severely injuring her leg, while transporting the goods from the aircraft to their boat. Jared's forced to abandon those items they found, including the illegal powder, and head back to the shore. When they bring her to the hospital, the doctors do their best, but sadly Amanda passes away. Sam, who's grieving for the death of Amanda, reunites with Jared after learning of the tragedy. Bryce gets sad for a couple of minutes, but easily gets over that, and has to go back and retrieve the goods that they left behind. This dude was like sad for a second. At this moment, Primo shows up and starts chasing him around town. As the 24-hour deadline's expired, after some back and forth, they get into a car crash and are forced to flee. But Jared decides to give himself to Primo, allowing Sam and Bryce to escape. Now Sam, who's adamant about going to the police, takes Bryce to visit Roy, the police captain shown to be friends with him from before. This doesn't sit well with Bryce, so he leaves her. Jared, on the other hand, offers Primo the golden dagger worth $10,000 to get some of that heat off his tail from Reyes. Primo takes Jared to Reyes' yacht, but they discover that the crew and the crime lord himself were assassinated. Then Derek and his goons appear and pop Primo as well. They start chasing Jared, and he ends up falling into the water. One of the men starts shooting at him, but the other stops him and tells him that Derek needs him to lead to the plane, so they chase him with a small boat instead. Jared dives to the bottom to evade and smartly holds onto their boat while they're searching. The goons get frustrated and leave. At that moment, Roy offers to help Sam and takes her to meet a friend. But it turns out Roy's a corrupt cop, and that friend turns out to be Derek, and he gets a hold of Sam. Bryce and Jared reunite, and he tells his friend that Derek has taken out Reyes and his crew and is now trying to find him so that they can lead him to the plane filled with those illegal substances. Jared tries calling Sam, only to find out that Derek has tied her up and is threatening to assassinate her if he doesn't give those coordinates for the plane. Jared's getting worried, but manages to bargain for Sam's life by securing a meeting with Derek. After that call, Jared suddenly has an idea, and they go visit a friend. Later on, Jared meets Derek on the yacht and sees Sam in a terrible state. He panics and offers Derek the gold and treasure on the Zephyr, and also offers to retrieve that candy from the plane in exchange for Sam's freedom. Derek agrees and they all sail off. When they arrive, Derek and his men start getting their crane ready to lift up that plane. At the same time, Sam manages to slip out of her restraints. She then goes on a rampage, destroying the equipment inside, which disables the crane system. Distracted by the crane's failure, Jared escapes from Derek, diving underwater, forcing the goons to dive after him with harpoons. While giving chase underwater, Derek and the goons discover that most of the magic powder is either missing or empty, making him mad. While one of the men searches, Bryce joins in the fight and starts taking out some of Derek's men. On the surface, Jared's friend arrives, distracting a goon. He then attacks him and drags him away with his boat. Back in the ship, the last goon on the boat chases Sam, but she runs away and manages to close the door on him. She quickly goes to call for help. However, he follows her with a machete, but she injures him, and the two fall into the water where a shark is present. Fortunately, Sam manages to fight away and the shark rips him apart. In the underwater plane, Derek is battling Bryce and Jared, shooting at him. They barely avoid it and quickly swim away. However, Bryce soon gets hit in the leg by another thug. Jared saves him and tells him to head back up first. During this time, Derek tries to attack Jared, but he manages to counterattack and he starts winning that fight, but he's running out of oxygen and he goes to take in some. Derek takes that opportunity to reload the harpoon so he can finally end Jared, but when he's about to attack him, Jared hammers off the valve and utilizes an air tank as a projectile. Derek dodges, but it strikes the fuel tank near the back and it explodes severely, taking out Derek with Jared narrowly escaping. Now weeks have passed. The group can be seen diving once again, but only this time they manage to finally strike gold.